welcome. This is Fearless Entrepreneur Show, and I'm so excited about today's topic because we're talking about the 4 reasons why you should celebrate your failures. Isn't that an awesome topic to talk about? Now, I'll be honest with you guys, the reason why I actually wanted to talk to you about today because I'm personally going through quite a bit of a contrast in some of the transformations and changes happening in my life. So as I'm learning these lessons and I'm experiencing some shifts and changes, that would be great for me to share some of this with you. So, all of us are going through this parts and pieces in our life when things are just shifting. And so often when things are not the way that we were expected it to be, we start labeling it as failure, right? Or as something that we did wrong, or sometimes even reflection on who we are. So the first thing I want you to acknowledge, guys, and to notice is that most successful people failed a lot. So number one reason why you should celebrate your failures is that most successful people have failed a lot. And if you study, some of their biographies or even just footsteps of people who have achieved amazing success and fulfillment in their life, you'll see that they actually have taken a lot of different actions and courses and directions before they gotten where they are. Now, sometimes it's on the surface and you can see it, but sometimes it's just, you just don't know that that's what's happening. So for me personally, every time things does not go necessarily my best, okay, righty, that's just part of a successful person and I'm walking this part. So just kind of keep that in mind. And as a matter of fact, in the Fearless Entrepreneur Program, which is my signature program that's launching this September, we have the whole unit on this specific part on how to uncover this, fear of failure and how to really clear it up. And I have tons of examples, specific examples of people who have gone through this journey, who have achieved amazing results, and they have failed a lot. Now, let's talk about reason number 2, and that is one of my favorites. So, reason number 2 why you should celebrate your failures is that you cannot buy experience. I'm going to say it again, guys. You cannot buy experience. Your failures are priceless because they give you the feedback that you need to take the step, to make the changes, to make things happen. The truth is, guys, some of those failures are just kind of part of the deal. You will have your first refund. You will have your first client who will not have a very good review of your program. You will have all of these feedbacks, and I think this is where tapping comes full speed, is learning to really dissociate from the hurt and the pain of some of the words or some of the context. If it's relationships, some of the things that happen, that you can actually look at this and say, there's just something for me to learn from, right? It's a learning experience. I am successfully learning. And notice how you can always rephrase it, right? So whatever happened in your life, maybe you had a foreclosure, maybe you had a business that failed, maybe you had a webinar who nobody could, you can just say, this is just a successful learning experience that I went through. So now I know what to tweak in the next step to make it better. Very powerful, right? So let's move on to step number 3. The truth is, this is the only way for you to grow and evolve, because we grow and evolve through a contrast, right? So we have to see, what is right or wrong for us, right? What is working for us and what is not, but we cannot have this gift of discernment if we don't have that experience. So I think the biggest example here is the one that has to do with relationships. So if you are getting in relationships and you're starting to see that there's a disalignment there and this is not where it is, you start looking back and saying, I had all these red flags. How did I miss it? Well, you didn't. At that time, you just didn't have this level of understanding and this level of kind of dealing with reality that you have right now. The chances are you probably have grown and evolved from that point. So you've made the right decision back then. But now you can look and say, I don't think this is the kind of relationship that serves me best, right? Or the business that serves me best. So you always will have a gift of discernment because you know what you don't want. So every time you know what you don't want, it's a clear sign of what you do want. Now, what you want to do in your mind is you want to notice this, this tiny point to where you get clarity on this, and then you really want to shift focusing on things that you want to manifest. Because in your mind, if you want to say, well, I don't want to fail in business, I don't want to divorce, I don't want to failed relationships, your subconscious mind reads it, this is what I want, right? Because your subconscious mind does not know word no. So always start rephrasing and reframing yourself and thinking in terms of what is it that you want to manifest. Alrighty, guys. And number 4 is my top favorite. And you probably guys heard me saying it over and over again, but it's really, I don't think it's really never enough to repeat this because it's so important. There you go. There is no failure, only feedback. I'm going to say it one more time. There's no failure, only feedback, right? So, excuse me, just like there's nothing good or bad or right or wrong and only thinking makes it so, it is the same thing with something that we label as that. So start looking and say, well, what kind of gift is there for me, right? What kind of feedback is there for me? I, had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and it was, kind of hurtful, but not really. It was a learning experience. It was a lesson for me to learn. And as I was looking back, I said, well, what is it there for me to learn and to take from that experience? And I said, okay, I think I want to connect with people differently. I think I want to tell them more how much I appreciate them, like explicitly, really say it out loud. And that was the gift, even though the interaction itself was kind of more like a conflict, and, she got upset and I got upset. But when I look back, and of course I tapped on that, and I said, okay, what is that for me to take? I took something really beautiful out of it that helped me improve my life. So no failure, only feedback. Alrighty, guys, so I hope it'll help you look at your things that happen in your life right now and do a bit of a reframe. So how can you look at the situation that you're experiencing right now and change it to a different perspective, different point? Because there's always a reframe. And one of the things that I pride myself in helping people is to see a different perspective, because they're so deep into the situation, into the place we're right now, that they cannot see any other way. So if you're there, then get someone to help you. Get a friend who can have a fresh outlook. Get a practitioner. Schedule a free consultation with me. Because that's what, people like me are here for. They are help you to see something that you don't see yet. It's in you. It's inside of you. You got it. It's just you are not seeing it yet. You're not seeing this perspective. Alright, guys, well, I hope it was helpful. Let's go ahead and do a quick tapping on celebrating failures and clearing up any negativity around it. So you can take your beautiful lessons and move on. Alright, so take a deep breath and breathe out. And go ahead and see if you can find, a situation, a place where you could label as a failure or something that bothers you, and we go ahead and clear that. When you're done, just step into this, see what you saw, feel what you felt. If there's any pictures or words, bring it up. And then just as you feel it, tap between your eyes and say, this feeling, this memory, this situation, it's safe for me to clear it. This perceived failure, all in the past, no longer real. It's safe for me to see it differently. I know there's a different way of seeing it, and I'm willing to change my perspective. The most successful people have failed a lot. So every single failure making me more successful and closer to my desires. I choose to see it that way. Every single no brings me closer to a yes. I value my experience. So I appreciate the life that I lived. Every single step that happened with me, every single thing that happened with me brought me right here, right now. So I'm in the right place. I am where I am, and I'm going to where I want to go. I'm excited about being where I am, and I'm more excited about going where I'm going. I know I learn through the contrast. I know I grow through the contrast. So I appreciate the contrast. Knowing there's nothing good or bad, only thinking makes it so. I release and let go of everything else. It's safe to let it go. There's no failure, only feedback. As I clear up negativity, all these feelings, all these pictures, all this past psychic residues, it's safe to let it go. Just let it go. It's my time, and I'm ready. Go ahead and grab your waist, guys. Breathe in and breathe out. And say peace. Excuse me. Fantastic. So if you feel like you need a little bit more help in changing your perspective or shifting your failures, I'm actually opening a few spots for one-on-one consultations. It's 100% free. It's 20 to 30 minutes of chat with me. And, you know, by the end of the chat, if we determine that there's something that I can help you more, I can recommend you a program that you can join, which is the Fearless Entrepreneur Program. It starts, you know, really, really soon. It's an amazing place to grow and evolve both professionally and personally. And if that's not the right next step for you, then I'll just, you know, send you off with an amazing tap-in affirmation. So I highly recommend you, if you've been called to have a quick chat with me or to work with me, to go ahead and schedule this consultation. Hopefully I can help you get some clarity, answer some questions for you. So I'll go ahead and have that link below, probably limit to about 10 people maximum. So I want to encourage you, if you think that this is right next to you, go ahead and do it now before the place is filled out. And rather than that, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for listening. Bye.